everyone. So it's like 7:30. I haven't vlogged all day because there really wasn't much going on. I had a visitor and I didn't want to vlog while they were here. Okay, so let me fill you in on everything that happened today. I had a visitor and we test Kylie every 6 hours to make sure that she's in ketosis or if she's has any ketones in her body, in her urine. So she is not in ketosis, and she has already had her first official day of being on the keto only diet. And they think that it's because she's gained weight too fast, too quickly. So she has gained 25 grams. No, she's gained 50 grams in 2 days, 25 each day, and that's a little bit too much for her, I guess. So they think that that is standing in the way of her being put into ketosis. And so what they're doing to fix that is they're changing her formula, and she's going to get less calories, and hopefully that will do the trick, because right now she is negative ketones, and she should at least be putting out some, because she should be getting there right now. Okay, so I got this lovely information packet here. So what is the ketogenic diet? So now this is very new to me, so I will be reading off of it. I'm so sorry that I don't have all this memorized, so bear with me. This is very new to me still. Try to follow along. Okay, the classic ketogenic diet is a strictly calculated diet, which is very high in fat and low in carbohydrates. The diet is a low calorie and contains adequate protein. This diet is very effective in the treatment of many kinds of epilepsy. A regular diet should consist of 25% fat, 20% protein, and 55% carbohydrates. The keto diet consists of 87 to 90% fats, 3 to 5% carbohydrates, and 5 to 7% protein. The exact percentages depend on your child's age and ideal body weight related to their height. Which is why if any of you watching are considering doing the keto diet or putting your child, switching their diet to the keto diet, I recommend doing this under medical supervision, because a lot of things can go wrong and you might not be able to catch it until it's too late. So therefore, please don't base your child's nutrition off of the information that I'm about to give you. Let's see here. So basically, yeah, the keto diet is very high in fat, very low carbohydrates, and very low protein. Basically, because there's 3 to 5% carbohydrates and 5 to 7% protein. So in the keto diet, the keto diet is all the rave right now with weight loss and people that don't have like a medical, like epilepsy or something. And this diet is specifically for epilepsy. So that's what we're targeting right now. So for this keto clinic, they ask us to do 2 months. All right, so if at the end of the 2 months there is no change in her seizures and like the frequency, then that means, and then if the change in seizure frequency and the lab work tells us the level of ketones in the blood are high, then we will discontinue the diet. So basically, if she is in ketosis and is still having her seizures, no change, no fewer seizures, then we will discontinue the diet. If there is a change, if she is in ketosis and there is a change in her seizures, they have either decreased a little or they have went away completely, then we will do a 2-year commitment. Now, that is a big commitment because there's a lot that goes into this formula. It's not just one formula that you mix in with water, like the powder with the water. This is like, I have to do everything by a scale. So everything has to be weighed out for her. I have to, this is how I make one day's worth of her new keto formula. And I'm supposed to make it in one big amount for the whole entire day, and then she just gets it throughout the day. So it is 340 mLs of keto liquid, the 4-to-1 ratio. Then there's 25 mLs of 100% prune juice. Now, prune juice is not keto friendly because it does have sugar in it, but she is very constipated. We're now on day 7 of her not pooping. So prune juice is kind of like a rescue for her, and you have to have carbs, so many carbs to every other part in there. So that will be her carbs, and then she gets 385 mLs of water, just plain water. And I also need to put in 1/16 of salt, because I guess in the keto diet there are things that you lack because you're strictly doing this diet for seizure purposes, to try to get the seizures. So really, I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong because you're only looking at one target. So then all these other things, there is a huge decrease in there's a huge decrease in like growing for kids that are on this diet, because there's so much that lacks in this diet. Okay, so the ketogenic ratio is determined by the patient's age. This ratio determines the amount of fat that is given into the relationship to the amount of carbohydrates and protein. For example, if your child is on a 4-to-1 ratio, that would mean that she would receive 4 grams of fat for every 1 gram of carbohydrate and protein combined. So it's pretty high fat and not a lot of the rest. Okay, so the keto ratio pretty much determines the degree to which foods will produce ketones. Fats have a high ketogenic potential, while carbohydrates, sugars, and starches have an anti-ketogenic potential. Proteins, because of their fat content, have mixed or neutral potential. All right, so here are just a few things that could drop, or a few things that can go wrong doing this keto diet. Hypocalcemia, which is low calcium. Acidosis, which is too many ketones in the blood, and it lowers the CO2. Increase in lipids, fats, such as cholesterol or triglycerides. Increase in liver functions as the liver is working harder. Carnitine deficiency, selenium deficiency, kidney stones. So Kylie will be going home on some supplements. It is very common for people that are on the keto diet to get kidney stones. So she will be taking a supplement for that. You can get elevated uric acid, hair loss, decrease in growth and height, which is what I was telling you earlier. There's a big decrease in growth. Dysfunction of the white blood count. Dysfunction of the white blood cells. Cardiac conditions such as arrhythmia, coagulation problems, and rash. So those are all just some things that could go wrong, which is why we have to be here for 5 days to be monitored. She is also going to have to take a multivitamin with iron. So ketones. Ketones are substances that are made when the body breaks down fat for energy. Ketones are measured in the urine via ketone strips or via blood through a test called BHB. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Your child needs to be ketotic. Your child needs to be ketotic for this diet to work with controlling seizures. All right, so since this is a very strict diet, and she doesn't eat bacon and butter, she strictly is the keto formula and some, like, obviously water, some salt. Whenever she does start doing, we can mix baby food. We can mix up, whatever vegetables or fruits or whatever is keto, we can mix up into a blender, but it has to be like weighed out on a scale. It has to be measured 100% correctly in order for this to work. So everything is super, super, super detailed. So that is all the information I have now. There will be 2 ladies tomorrow here to teach me everything I need to know. They're going to go over everything with me. We're going to make some formula in the room. That way I know what I'm doing when I get home, when I'm by myself. So she also got the speech therapist has been coming every day to try to get her to drink by mouth with the bottle. So she is G-tube. She does. She has a feeding tube. She does do some by mouth. She will eat with a spoon, baby food, and then she will also drink the bottle. But some days she just doesn't want to. Some days she is too tired, or if we catch her at a tired time, then she won't eat by mouth. So every time that the speech therapist came, which speech therapy and feeding therapy, they're kind of like the same. Obviously, speech might target talking, and feeding might target feeding. But I think that for the most part, they are the same group of people. So every time that the speech therapist came, Kylie was tired, or she had just woke up, or she was sleeping. So every time that we would wake her up to eat, of course, she didn't want to eat. And she's scheduled for Thursday to do a swallow study, which a swallow study is where the child, there's a X-ray I'm pretty sure it's X-ray, but there's a camera looking through your throat right here to see if you're doing all. Sorry, I don't know what happened. It cut off. So the swallow study is where they're looking through your throat, making sure that your coordination is where it's supposed to be, that the liquid is going where it's supposed to be, or if the person is having a hard time swallowing, or if it just sits in their mouth. It kind of gives everyone a look into how they eat by mouth. So for us, she was supposed to get this study done. She's already done the study one time months ago, and she passed. So she wasn't aspirating, and it's only a 10-minute at the longest study, and so that specific time she did not aspirate, so it was safe for her to eat by mouth. Well, this time they don't even want to do the swallow study because she, everything, all days leading up to the swallow study, she wasn't really doing much of any oral feeding. So they don't want to do it, which is kind of a bummer, because it's always nice to see, even whenever they're tired or whenever at any point, how she's eating, because you're kind of getting like an inside look on the way that she eats. They don't recommend feeding her by mouth anymore until she's at a place where I feel like she's able to eat. And honestly, she gets feeding therapy every week. I feel like we're at a place where I can keep going with her. So that's kind of why I would like her to get the swallow study. But I don't think she's going to get it this